Hey, hello again. This is Neal and Teresa with Returning to Basics. We're out in our orchard and we've got to do a little bit of work out here. You notice our tree here. This is a potted tree that we got last year from Orchland. It's a Yates Apple, and Yates are resistant to cedar rust. And so we bought this, and it's really nice. And I'll tell you a little secret about apple trees and all fruit trees. If you can find them, and they're not always easy to find, but if you can find them, and if you can find one that's already potted, like a 2-year-old tree or something like that, spend the extra money and buy those. You can find all kinds of trees around the internet and around the country that are 1.5 foot, 2 foot, 1 foot trees that are bare root, but it takes a long time for them to grow and to get any kind of size. In fact, look at this one. I'm 6'2", and it's at least a foot taller than me. So we put this one out last year, and it's probably not grown very much at all. And so you notice that we put the deer protector on the bottom, and I'm going to have to put these 3 fence posts down and put this poultry wire around it to keep them from eating it, because they will eat it when they find it. But this is a Yates, and come go with me and I'll show you the other ones, and you'll see what this one will look like whenever we finish.
The wrapping on the bark also helps prevent rabbits and any kind of little rats or
rodents
things. Yeah.
and rabbits from chewing on the bark at the bottom. It also prevents sun scald. And you think, what do you mean by that? Well, early in the spring, if the sun's coming up in, say, this direction, and it warms this tree up, it'll warm up and loosen the bark on this side, but on the cold side it won't, and that produces a problem for them, creates a problem. I don't fully understand it, but the nursery folks tell us to be sure and put these white things or a translucent tube on them.
Or paint.
For a while, or paint them with a white latex paint. And so we've done that with our other ones over here. Let's go look at them. Come closer. This is a Robinson flowering crabapple. Now, you say, why would you put a crabapple out? It's a universal pollinator. And so we have, in this orchard, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees. And 2 of these out of the 9 or 10 are Robinson crabapples because they're universal pollinators. On this side, we have Arkansas Blacks, and they are an old, well-established apple, and they'll produce a tremendous apple, but they need a pollinator. And we thought they needed one pollinator, so we put Macintoshes on this side. And they're good apples, and they're going to be good for the wildlife at some point in the future, and that's why we're really growing them, to make this a hot spot for deer in the future. But we found out that Arkansas Blacks require 2 pollinators. But you can fix that by putting out 1 crabapple, which is a universal pollinator. So look here at this one. This is an Arkansas Black. But remember the size of that tree, that Yates over there that I told you about? This tree right here is going on 4 years old. But it was a bare root tree, only about this tall when we got it. And so you see, it takes quite a long time for them to grow and establish themselves. And these trees were watered regularly. These trees have been fertilized since the first year. You know, they say not to fertilize them the first year. So after the first year, we fertilized them each year. We've treated them to try and keep the bugs and the caterpillars off of them. And so it just takes a long time. Now, if you turn back around and look at that Robinson, this Robinson was potted. This Robinson was about, this tall last year when we put it out. It's grown about 1 foot. And so it's bigger, and it's a much better tree. In fact, we don't need this to hold it any longer. But great apple trees. And so we're really looking forward to these. And so if you look in the back behind me over here, this is another Robinson. This is an Arkansas Black over here. And it's doing well, but it's not really done well until this year. And so
It was bare root as well.
it was, all of these were bare root trees except for the Robinson Crabapples, and we got those in little 1 gallon buckets. This one is an Arkansas Black. This one, that one, and that one are wild persimmons.
The ones with the pink tags.
Yes, the one with the pink markers on them are wild persimmons. And we have a number up and down through this creek, a few over there as well, but we probably have 50 or 60 or 70 behind the cabin over in that area. Now, look here, this is an Arkansas Black, but it's not doing so well. It's the farthest north Arkansas Black one we have. But the problem is the canopy. I have so much shade here. I'm going to actually have to cut some of these nice trees out, and I hate to do it because, well, I don't mind cutting that one. It's a hickory, but that's a white oak. That's a white oak. That's a white oak. That's a white oak. White oak. I just hate to cut white oak. And this is a white oak, and they're just such wonderful trees. Now this tree over here, these two are Macintosh, and this is the oldest tree I have in the well, that's not true. It's the same age as the oldest Arkansas Black, but it's just done better than all the rest. Look at how much bigger it is. And it's coming on and doing well. And I've trimmed them and done, I've pruned them and done what I think I can to make them work. And so we've really worked hard. And we put this 3 posts around each one of them and poultry wire to try and keep the deer away from them. And we pull them back in because they like these little tender tips, is what we're told. And I don't know if they really do or not, but I'm just trying to keep them away from them and see if we can't do it. But even at 3 years old, we've not seen one apple on any of these trees. Not one. And so I'm not real sure how long it's going to take for any of them to actually produce. This is the one tree it looks like we've probably lost. And it actually has quite a bit of, well, it may not. You notice there's one brand new shoot right off of there. And so I'll get my pruners and I'll prune this old trunk off and I'll straighten that up. And I'll use this. In fact, I'll get in there and use that and tie it to that, and maybe we'll get a tree out of that. This is an Arkansas Black as well. So we have 1, 2, no. Is this an Arkansas Black or a Macintosh way up here?
I thought it was a Macintosh.
I can't tell anymore. Macintosh. This is a Macintosh. So this is a Mac. That's a Mac. 3, 4 Macintosh. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Arkansas Blacks. And so, and 2, so that's 9, 10, 11 in this little orchard area right here. And unfortunately, I am going to have to cut some trees down around it to give it, open the canopy up. Because we have some Dunstan chestnuts coming, and we have a couple of chestnuts, Chinese chestnuts at the house that we have in buckets that we are trying to harden off and give them a chance to grow. They came to us bare roots, and they're about this tall. They were about 2.5 or 3 foot tall when we got them, and we're having to baby them. But we'll get them out here, get a couple of chestnuts out here, a couple of chestnuts out on the other part of the property. They bear every year, and they start bearing at the 3 to 5 year cycle, and they bear every year, where a acorn tree might bear every other year, and some of them not that often. So deer, I understand, really like chestnuts. And so we're going to really baby those and make sure they have a good place. Probably put them right over there and put the others up the hill on the other side of the property. So there again, here you have it. A lot of work always, but it's great out here. If you can't, I don't know if you can see right off through there, but there's 1, 2, 3.
I don't think that the sun,
4,
the way it is.
5, 6. I can see 6, and another one, a large one, 7, going up that hill. Wild persimmon trees.
When we first bought the place, we had no plumbing, and so we rigged up a latrine behind the cabin. And we would come out about 9:30 in order to make our last trip, and we could hear deer back in there, and they would snort at us and stamp their foot. Well, the next year, Neal started walking around looking back through there and discovered the persimmon grove, basically.
And there were lots of them. And as I said earlier, we probably found 50 to 70 trees in there. And we've marked them all. And we plan to do a little prescribed fire through the area. But as you can tell, with things like this, we're going to have to rake around them and water them real well so that we don't hurt them when we do that. And particularly back over there behind the cabin so that we don't kill those trees. Well, thanks again for coming. The gnats are bad. Thanks for coming along with us. Hit the like button. If you've stayed with us this long in this video, surely you've liked it, or you've tolerated us at least. And so be sure and hit the like button for us. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell so that you'll be notified when we produce other videos. And hey, leave us some comments down below and let us know what you think about what we're doing. And this is our life, and this is what we're doing and what we're enjoying. And we want to take you along with us. Thanks a million. Have a great day, and God bless you.